my screen over there. All right, we are live. Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be
Hello,
talking
hello.
about World War II video games because it's the greatest generation of
Yeah,
video games.
and this is in line with the upcoming game. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah, Company Heroes 2 or 3, not 2. 3 is coming out on Thursday, and we're both pretty excited about it. As you can see from John's stunned face over there.
What if this looks done to you? Then yeah, totally.
Yeah,
It,
your
it
face
it's more
your
s-
face was locked like
it's
this.
yeah it's more stoned than stunned, to be honest.
Yeah, we can always tell when you look away from your camera because your eye goes
Yeah, wonk
winky. You
we.
get you get the wonky eye.
That's why, guys, please like, subscribe, and share the show because, or I mean, the stuff because, um, for a little dollar or a couple of cents, you can help me move, and you know, they will be used for a better cause, for sure.
So I guess we just start going over kind of
Yeah.
but we can just go back and forth, you know. You throw out a World War II game, I'll throw out a World War
y-
II game. So
Okay.
what do you got, John? What's the first one on your
Well,
mind?
the first thing on my mind of World War II games is, of course, the granddaddy or the pioneer, almost pioneer of it all, which is pretty much Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor was
Oh
generally
yeah.
one of the best, yeah, one of the best, um, best games that I've played that was set in the World War II setting. Um, the first time I played, I think it was Allied Assault. That was
Oh
the
really?
very first yeah, that was the very first Medal of Honor I actually played, where you were genuinely in the, uh, I don't know what you call it, like landing barges?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just got out of there facing a hailfire storm of bullets just shooting you, and it was amazing. And
Oh, that was the one, right? Like the first level is D-Day.
yeah, D-Day, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
and like stuff blowing up, and they got the tank traps, and you got to go up through the beach.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
it. What's funny is when that game came out too, is everything was still very linear. Like it's not like now
Right.
where if you had something like that, you'd be able to run up and down the beach and like do
Uh-huh.
different. It was very linear, but it didn't feel that way. Like it felt like it was
Right.
bigger, but really there was only kind of a certain path because if you went off the path to the right or left too far,
Uh-huh.
you just died. Like it would act like you
Right.
got shot to death because it there was lots of bullet noises and lots of bullet sounds, but there actually weren't that many bullets.
Yeah, and the thing there was, like, if you stood up for too long, you'd be shot to death. Like, there's a
Yeah,
timer.
well, Medal of
Which
Honor was one of the first ones that did the whole like right, you get shot and your screen kind of goes dim, but then you like recover, like it comes back. I think Medal of Honor was
um
one of the first ones without like a health bar.
no, 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 that is Call of Duty. That was Call of Duty that removed the health bar. Medal of Honor still had the health bar.
Did it?
It still had it. Yeah, it still
Oh,
had it. So there are some, basically once you get through the beachhead, um obviously you'd be injured, probably at half health or something, and then some medics will give you some of the bandages or those health kits that bumps up your
right.
HP or something. Yeah. So that was genuinely how it was with Medal of Honor. It was just Yeah, that was
Yeah, and
it was
m
beautiful.
my first Medal of Honor, I think, was PlayStation, and it was just called
PlayStation.
Medal of Honor. Like,
Oh,
that's all it
it
was
could
called.
it could
And
be the legacy one.
like, levels where, you were going through woods, these little walkways, and you'd shoot
Uh-huh.
guys. I remember the controls being terrible. Uh,
Oh,
like, the aiming was very, like, rudimentary
I'm
for sure.
I I'm
Um,
kinda interested in knowing what this is. I
and
don't think I've played the yeah,
I remember,
go
like,
ahead.
there's, like, level with, like, a silencer gun because you're, like, in a U-boat facility and you're
Oh,
going
that is
through.
Allied Assault.
Is that
That
Allied
is
Assault?
Allied
Might
Assault,
both of them
yeah.
might have had it too, but because
Interesting.
it wasn't all just, like, guns heavy, like, they had, like, kind of stealth missions, but they weren't really stealth missions. They're
Yeah,
just
they
like,
were
"Your
like
gun's quiet."
infiltration
Yeah.
missions. Yeah, yeah. And then you had like to pretend you're like an officer or something.
Mhm.
Like I think you had to pick up a uniform, an officer uniform,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah,
had to
yeah.
like steal the plants. Okay, yeah, that
Yep.
is Allied Assault.
Oh, okay. So, we're remembering
Yeah,
the same game. I just didn't remember it was called Medal of
yeah, yeah.
Honor Allied
That was
Assault.
it. The cool thing about Medal of Honor, I think, was they also had like several expansion packs after that. There was Spearhead, which was the the airborne version. So
Mhm.
it was like D-Day -1, I think.
Yeah.
And that was when the paratroopers were just dropping from the skies. It was
Well,
amazing. You just
the
drop.
paratroopers dropped at the same time as D-Day was going on. They actually dropped before.
Yeah. But it was like the night before, right? Like it was June 5th or something? Because June 6th was
Yeah,
like
because
D-Day day.
I think the assault was in the morning, and they dropped all
Mhm.
the paratroopers at night so the paratroopers could take out as much artillery,
Right.
infrastructure, stuff basically behind the front of the beach to so they can get planes and stuff overhead too, like AA
Uh-huh.
guns and stuff.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that was really it. That was and because I used to grow up like watching have you seen the movie uh, The Longest Day? It was like originally black and white and then they kind of colorized it. You know that movie? The Longest Day?
no, I don't
Oh
know
my
that
god,
movie.
dude, you're missing out. John Wayne was there. And a lot of the old school like 50s, 60s
Oh, really?
actors. Yeah, it was old school. It was literally like you got to check it out. You got to check it out. Can you pull it up on the screen?
What, The Longest
The
Day?
long Yeah, The Longest Day. Type it out.
Well, I'll see. So what about The Longest Day that was so.
So, this was literally the depiction of the entire well, it was the depiction of World War II from the airborne drops to the actual landing on
Alright.
D-Day.
So I put up the
Yeah,
trailer on the TV.
yeah, I see it. So the interesting piece of this is that's 1962, dude, 1962,
Uh-huh.
and it yeah, it generally gives you like a good idea of how that played out because the story here was the paratroopers dropped like some dummy paratroopers like mannequins
Yeah.
to to like trick the Germans and then they kind of dropped like the actual paratroopers next
Right,
and
if they're
then
shooting
that
dummies, they're wasting bullets.
yeah
That's kinda funny.
we got to do this is a very long movie though I'm just gonna tell you ahead of time this is a very very long movie and then it's it depicts World War II very well
Yeah, I mean, it may be out of, what do you call it now? Copyright.
Mhm.
We'd have to check
Yeah, we could
because
do probably
we
like
could do a
what
watch
what
party or something if it's out of copyright.
yeah, totally. Yeah, this Sean Connery was still very young here,
Oh,
so you can
yeah?
imagine that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was part of the British forces who landed in Sword Beach.
So what you're saying is this is the first, James Bond movie? Like, this is like the
Probably. You
history of
can say
James
that.
Bond, you
Yeah.
know? James Bond
He
was doing this first and then switched
he went
over?
James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't seen this yet. This is really good. It's really, really
I
good
don't
movie. And
recall, I mean, I may have seen it at some point, but I don't really
uh
remember it.
but I do remember my dad like he loves war movies a lot because of course his dad also fought in the Pacific War. But
Mhm.
whenever he watches it, I watch it alongside him. So it was something that kind of fueled my love for the World War II aesthetic.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of
yeah,
old
that's
movies I watch because, it's like grandpa's
dad.
watching them. My dad
Yeah,
not so much, but my grandpa, he'd go visit them and he'd be watching all the old movies.
old school
He
movie.
was more into
Yeah.
westerns though. He watched a lot of westerns.
Oh, a lot of the cowboy stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
John Wayne, cowboy,
So, I
Clint
mean, well,
Eastwood.
when we're talking about World War II and video games though, I mean, computer-wise, like, you don't get more OG than Wolfenstein though, right? Like,
Oh, right,
that's
right, totally.
computer
But
game-wise, that's probably the first World War II first-person shooter.
almost set in that era, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah,
Because
you're
Wolfen's
shooting Nazis.
right. And then Wolfenstein was like the precursor to Doom.
Yeah, they came out right around the same time. I think Wolfenstein and Doom right after it. All the guys yelling "My life, mein Leben"
Ugh.
when you shoot
Yeah,
'em.
yeah, yeah. That was that was that was generally what it was. And then, you know, it was yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they didn't hide stuff in that one. Like,
Mhm.
you know, oh, speaking of Company of Heroes, that's what's on the screen right now.
Mhm.
That they're showing.
Is this
But like
is this
Company of
the
Heroes hide stuff too. Like the Nazi symbol in
uh-huh.
World War II games has kind of been erased.
I
Rarely do
don't
you
get
ever
why
see it
though.
in new age games. They don't like have it. They'll use other symbolism
Uh-huh.
that's kind of close, but you never see like the SS symbol, the Nazi symbol. And because a lot of that is because like in Europe,
Mhm.
they won't let them release the games with like that symbology in it.
Mm,
So they've erased it. Like Wolfenstein, the old one, it had it. You went in
yeah.
there and there was like banners with giant swastikas on them and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was
I w-
not hidden. But I mean, you know, one thing about World War II games that I think is why they rank up so good, it's like the only war that you can really be in there and be like, I'm murdering all these people, but it's okay because they're Nazis. You know? Like,
there's no remorse for
right.
taking it. Yeah.
Which is why I think a lot of stuff focuses really heavily on Europe and less so on the
Uh-huh.
Pacific theater.
Right.
Even though the Japanese were equal to Nazis, just about in
Uh-huh.
every way, just as
Uh-huh.
brutal, just as genocidal. They murdered tons of Chinese, just
Uh-huh.
slaughtered them.
Yeah, that's very interesting because it's the same exact thing. If you try to see the releases of Medal of Honor that is set in the Pacific era
Hmm.
or the Pacific front,
Oh, there's
it's
the
not.
Allied assault right there.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly it. This is my first feet first into the World War II games. This is exactly it. See, you had to like run from one. What do you call this? Jingle? Or
Those are tank tracks.
yeah, tank tracks. Yeah, you had, and then there was like a medic there somewhere that will give you your HP. See, There's like an HP bar on the bottom left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, there's and the bullet rack.
Yeah. And the cool thing here was some because of the direction that Medal of Honor was going, it wasn't um it kind of got stale. So what some of the developers from EA did was they kind of pulled out and kind of like created their own World War II version of games, and this is when um Call of Duty was born. The first Call of Duty game actually still had like the health bars, but
Mhm.
Call of Duty 2 removed it completely. And that was
Yeah.
when the immersion just went crazy good.
I mean, just World War II games, there's something about it. It's like a really good era to make video games. I think it's like the best balance. Like if
Uh-huh.
you're to make a war thing, like imagine you make a present day war thing, they have to kind of
Uh-huh.
like amp up other countries to have better stuff or stuff that doesn't exist or stuff that was experimental. So
Right.
if they have like a modern age warfare game, it's like, oh well, the Chinese have this awesome thing, and this country over here has
Uh-huh.
this awesome thing, and they have to like balance it with like the U.S. stuff. Um,
Right.
but really, a lot of the United States stuff is just vastly superior. Um,
Mhm.
but you have to balance it in a game. I think just balancing is easier in World War II because everybody, technology wise, was kind of on an equal playing field. Like we all got
Well, it
planes. Some of them have different benefits and not benefits. We all have ships. We all have carriers.
yeah. Quite frankly, I think that depends also because if your game is single player focused, then I don't think the balancing would really matter.
No,
But right?
well, it still does
Oh,
matter because you don't want to be like too god
overpowered.
tier. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like
What
you don't want to go in there and be like, oh, I'm fighting people with huts. And
like you want a more immersive experience. Oh my god, what game is this? This is actually good.
oh, that's Battlefield 1942, I think.
Oh, okay, that explains why.
Yeah, Battlefield 1942 was really good. The Vietnam battlefield that followed
Y-
it was fantastic.
yeah. I like the Vietnam one. Battlefield Vietnam.
Yeah, and you could drop
I used to
napalm. You fly the plane and drop
yeah.
napalm on people.
I used to play that a lot with my brother.
Yeah,
But
I
like
used to play it a
we
lot with
were
my friends.
yeah, we played the we were always the on a Cobra. Like he was a gunner, I was a pilot.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could have
What
like gunners and stuff in some of
yeah,
the.
that's why we love that game because it was more like co-op in a way.
Yeah,
Because you can drive stuff, and then if you're a tanker, you could just so you got a gunner. That was the early stages of that kind of gameplay. And then I think there was the next Battlefield to that. I'm not sure, but I think it was Battlefield 2 or something. It was more Modern Warfare ish.
yeah. They
Yeah,
they went to a more modern warfare style.
yeah.
Now I
But that
like
was you
um
like what? Sorry, go ahead.
series wise,
Huh?
the Sniper Elite series. If you've played that,
I played a, a portion of it. It's
I mean,
fun.
they make the bullet cam awesome. I mean, what they've done with the bullet cam and like the full skeletal structure of guys and being able to snipe somebody and blow up their testicles. I mean, come on. Like you see the bullet go whoa, and their balls just explode. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Unrealistic as
the
hell. Like
mhm. But I kind of the kill cam basically the kill cam was what made it really appealing, quite frankly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely is what made it added a lot. It made it different. And I think for like a sniper game, you definitely want something like that. But
Mhm.
it's a good series altogether. I like the second one, I think, the best. I played the third
I
one. It's like set in Africa,
Uh-huh.
and being a sniper in Africa is not as awesome as being a sniper in Europe. Uh, Europe has lots of
It
buildings and cities and tall
a
buildings, and
and there's a lot of, like, foliage
yeah,
in the
Africa has got
yeah.
like a couple two-story buildings spread around a little bit. You're mostly crawling through like
The
some bushes.
the it always depends on the on the theater of war that you're playing in. The best Africa ear campaign that I
Hmm.
love playing is was either I think there's that's in Company of Heroes, but there's also one it's an expansion of Medal of Honor, Breakthrough.
Hmm.
So it was a time when Rommel's forces just started pushing through the Allied lines, and you had to defend. So that was one of my favorite pieces of the theater in some of the games. I haven't seen much set in the Africa. I
No,
don't know,
there's not
like
a lot
yeah,
set in the Africa theater. Um,
mhm.
it would definitely be on the bottom of the
Right,
list.
right, right of the list.
I think it kind of goes if you consider Russia like not
Uh huh.
Europe,
Uh-huh.
then it's in like popularity of using the theater, probably, the Western Front Europe,
Yeah.
at the top, most used,
Yes.
followed
Yes.
by the Pacific. No,
Uh
I
huh.
would say followed by Russia. I've played a lot more
Yeah.
Russian
The
based,
the Russian front. Yeah.
the Russian front, and
Yeah.
then Pacific, and then Africa at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why there's not much of an appeal in the Pacific front. Really, like although the best thing if you're going to do a Pacific front is probably like some aerial dogfighting or something.
Oh,
But
Wake
even
Island.
in yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wake
But
Island is always one that's used because it's
dude,
Wake Island. Like it's one of the most prolific, right?
dude, even and here's the funny thing. Even if you do like a aerial assault kind of like aerial battle kind of deal on the Pacific front,
Hmm.
if you're to compare that to the Battle of Britain, I'd totally be playing the Battle of Britain.
Yeah,
That
like if I
was
have a choice of what I'm
yeah,
playing,
yeah.
definitely.
Because the Battle of Britain was so good. Like, dude, have you even seen that movie? Like the movie,
I've
the Battle
seen
of Britain?
multiple movies about the Battle of Britain,
Like
and
the movie titled Battle of Britain.
yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yes, yes. But like, dude, that was the reason why I wanted to be a pilot given the chance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I like it. Like every single time I was a little boy, I what I do is like put on some goggles and like some weird I'd like tie
Hmm.
some handkerchief on my mouth and put on that movie and just pretend that like, I'm a pilot, literally just driving. Like I pick up like a steering wheel or something and it's like and like something like that. I don't know. I was very young.
Yeah, there's
But go ahead.
it's it's funny too because like a game that just popped up at the preview. One of the things that popped up on the TV here was about World
Oh,
War
well,
One, and
oh,
so it's a World War One game. There's not a
right.
lot of World War One games.
Oh, no. Actually, there's one that's up and coming, but if and probably Battlefield 1 was the
Yeah,
closest
but
that you'd probably get, but
that was like set in Africa, and it was
mhm,
also, I think it was set in Africa. I remember some Africa stuff, but
yeah.
it still doesn't like in a multiplayer sense, it doesn't work because people aren't hanging out in trenches fighting each other, like digging like it's not as romantic, I guess. Like there's
Mm.
not a lot of like, getting in there and charging as a team and winning the fight. It's just brutal. It's like, okay,
It
like you got to charge the trench, but half of us are gonna die. Yep. It's
yeah,
hard. How do you make that?
it's the same with okay, it we're talking World War One here, right? It's pretty much trench warfare, like boring, boring, boring. And then, they had to push, but what the way they pushed was like it's so stupid because they didn't even have like tanks back then. That was the advent of tanks.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
also
they smoke, gas,
uh-huh,
bombs,
right,
mortars. Like that was.
just to kill each other. But the the philosophy behind World War One is the same reason why there's not much of games about the Napoleonic era, right?
Yeah, or
Like
Civil War or anything where it's
mhm,
like
mhm.
musket or single load guns. Like they've
Right,
tried.
you can
Many games have tried, but it's like, how do you make this really fun? Like, bang! All
yeah,
right,
because everybody
I'll be with you in a second after I'm done stuffing this thing. Bang!
yeah,
Okay,
because
doing it one more time. Okay, now we stab each other.
there
And
isn't much of I think the closest you can get there are the Assassin's Creed games because they're genuinely based in history. Uh,
yeah,
That's
kind
usually where
of,
they're
but
but it's not like the like it's not like the typical first person shooters that we have today, which is pretty much fast paced,
it's
right?
not that big battle that people want.
Right, right.
Like people play Battlefield because they want that big battle. They play,
Mhm.
you know, these World War II games because they want that big battle feeling a lot of times.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And you have to have that big battle feeling to make a World War
Mhm.
One game work.
Right.
So if you had a game where it's like 100 versus of 100,
Uh-huh.
possibly it could be fun. But
Right.
having servers of 100 and 100 people is like, how do you get that player base?
Well, it's it happens. Like if the game is popular enough, uh I mean, Squad is one, although it's not World War II. If you want to go squad like, go Hell Let Loose. Let Loose. What the hell? I can't even speak now. Hell Let Loose. Right?
Well, yeah, but it's not World War One,
Yeah, yeah.
which
It's
is
not.
which
It's
is the
not.
thing, that right trench warfare. Imagine
Uh,
playing a trench warfare game, like a World War One game, where there's 100 people
mhm,
on that side and 100 people on this side,
that's right.
and you got your trenches, you got sappers, you got your
Uh
artillery
huh.
guys, no man's land,
Hmm.
and it's same command structure, maybe like Squad, but a World War One
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
It's not gonna do well because you have, even if you
World
go
War
on
One wasn't
Squad,
even Squad. Yeah.
if you go on and play Squad, yeah, there's 100 out of 100 fights. There's about
Right.
30 servers that have 100 out of 100.
Right.
So, what about all the other servers? If it's ever like a low pop server, it's now no longer fun.
Right. Right.
Squad is
That's
still
that.
kind of fun if it's low pop. It could be 50-50 and still be a fun
Yeah.
playing
Fine.
experience. So the problem is when you're stuck with, we have to have these big fights, it's like one
Yeah.
of two things. One, you got to add bots
Uh huh.
to like fill in the rank. Um, Two is you either have to have people, so people or
Hmm.
bots. So maybe if you did like a World War One game where every person has like three bots with them, it could
Uh
be
huh.
fun. Like they command their three bots plus themselves.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe just to bump up those numbers and make it really feel like big, because it's got to feel big.
Yeah. Well, I think it also boils down to the kind of philosophy in the warfare or the era of warfare that the people were fighting in. The old school days was pretty much just who had the most men or bodies to throw into the fray. And then World War II was slowly becoming the advent of a more tactical approach rather than an entire
Mhm.
army
Well,
approach, right?
what really stopped everything in World War One was the invention of the machine gun.
Yeah, for
Like they
sure.
used to be able to charge each other, even with
Hmm.
rifles and whatnot. Bolt action
Right.
rifles, which were cheaper and you could produce them
Uh huh.
quickly. But now you could have two guys on a machine gun that can mow down 100
Wiping.
people. Like
Right.
it really stopped progress. Um,
Right.
which is why it's good for a system like Squad
Uh
because
huh.
you limit the numbers. So there's only so many
Uh huh.
machine gunners. There's only so many
Right.
of
Right.
each
Right.
kind of class.
Uh
Um,
huh.
but it's just hard. World War One's a difficult genre, um,
Yeah.
and I don't think anybody's really got it right yet.
Yeah.
Same with
And that boils the
Napoleon Age and stuff like that.
that that boils down to our topic, right? Like it's usually either World War II that's so good or modern warfare that's hitting the markets or that's making buzz in the market,
I mean, World War Two
gaining
just
market.
has so much more romance to it too, like
That is
purpose.
true.
There's more purpose
Right.
behind it. Like
Yeah.
we're stopping the evil Nazis. Like nobody would disagree that we're stopping the bad guy.
Right.
Unlike World War One, it's like we're dying because some rich, affluent people, or World War One was like the death of monarchs. Um, it was like them clinging the power basically and fighting each other. Uh, people are dying for no reason. Like there's no romance in that really, except for the people with each other. So I think purpose does play kind of a part where it makes it better. You can write better stories for one, like in games that are story driven.
Yeah. Most likely single players would be a really good way to pop up the I don't know, like those kind of
Hmm.
era. Like what was it like to be in the shoes of one of those guys?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love single player.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of like give me a story and a single player, but I have
Mhm.
to say I like single player. Yeah, I mean we've played tons of stuff, and I'm always like
Yeah,
single
yeah. Yeah.
player.
Yeah,
Give us
story.
more
Story driven.
co-op. Like game industry, give us more co-op. One of the
Yeah.
coolest things we talk about company heroes, right? Is they had like
Yeah, yeah.
those different missions that kind of went in a row that you could play co-op together. And we were
Mhm.
like going through the fights. And it's like, oh, that last one was rough. Oh, we're fighting these guys and we're fighting together against the machine. And I like that a lot better than uh just shooting each other.
Company of Heroes, right? Man.
So to me, I want to play with my friends and play with my friends, not like against them. And I also don't
Yeah,
want
it's like it's
to
like
have 50 friends to make something fun. Like, yeah,
mhm.
public lobbies, whatever you join and you play, and yeah, you mentioned squad, so I've been starting,
Yeah.
I'll hop into squad every once in a while and play it now. The community over there is pretty chill. Most of the servers I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
on, like people are pretty friendly. Playing with
Yeah.
them, if you don't really know all the ins and outs, they're usually,
Right.
as long as you have decent commanders and people who aren't assholes, it flows
Right.
pretty well. Um, but a lot of times people suck. Like,
Oh,
for us
man.
casual players, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to play a game when I want to play a game. If it's
Right.
multiplayer based, when I go back and go, oh, I want to play that game, it doesn't exist anymore because the player base is gone.
talk about talk about that, it's similar to me also playing like Titanfall. I used to enjoy playing Titanfall,
Hmm.
um, multiplayer, but right now what's usually popping in Titanfall now are the co-op games, like the co-op version, where you
Yeah,
have to hold the line against X waves. So,
because it's something you
uh,
could play with your friend.
yes,
And
there.
those games I think have more longevity. That's why so many more games are coming out that are like the
Uh-huh,
four-man team games, where it's
right.
like four-man team versus the world. You know, people like them. They get to be
Uh-huh.
like, I could get four people together maybe to play a game sometime. But
It's very much like, think of it as PvE, right?
yeah,
Rather than PvP, that rather than hitting each other, you guys kind of like cooperate in finding a way around a certain situation, and you're very big on that, Jason. That was one thing I've played with you several times already, and that's something that you love a lot. Like, you'd rather be working with somebody rather than fighting with somebody and just swinging dicks and seeing who's got a bigger, I don't know, balls or something. Who's got a biggest dick or so,
that
excuse my
and
language.
it's not game's fault so much. I mean, maybe it is. I just
Yeah.
hate the stupidity stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh,
okay, I'm gonna play a game. I'm playing the new Call of Duty. I got to
yeah.
deal with guys sliding across the ground, shooting their gun accurate as hell, jumping off buildings, shooting accurate, doing all
Mhm.
this ridiculous crap. That's like, no way, bro. Not possible. Not happening. Not today, not tomorrow. I want to see somebody jump off a building and like whip out a sniper rifle and take a shot and hit anything.
Right, that's pretty
Like,
much Battlefield, dude.
who's designing these games? People who have never shot a firearm in their life. Me. So I'm not the best shooter. When I was in the Navy, I got
Mhm.
sharpshooter, so I wasn't expert.
Ah,
So that means I all right at shooting.
yeah, yeah.
You don't hit the target every time. Guns aren't
Uh-huh.
perfect. I mean,
Yep.
you have to sight in your right weapon. You have to make sure it's going to actually hit something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, bullets they go where they want. Like you can point at the thing, hopefully it goes there. Wind blows, it's going over there. So
Mhm.
trying to get it perfect is impossible.
Not to mention the angle of elevation too. Like,
But
sometimes,
nobody
you
also
know
wants to play a game where they can't aim and hit the thing they're aiming at. Why is the bullet way over there? I was aiming there. Oh, because the wind's blowing. Except for us crazy people who play tons of Arma and and want that stuff, the battle sim people. But
Yep.
we're just a little nutty. We want that like simulation. Most people want an arcade experience that
Yep.
feels like a battle sim.
Right. It's basically an action game. That's what they
Hmm.
want, like an action FPS. That's also one of the reasons why some World War II games and even Modern Warfare games are more popular. Uh, in the market today. It's mainly because of that. Like, there's so much more action arcadey elements that
Hmm.
they can add into it, rather than, just like you were saying, if you're doing the Napoleonic War era, you can imagine like you're filling in your bayonet with what gunpowder, and takes you how many seconds to load. So
Yeah.
you can there's no thrill in it, you know.
Now,
It's
I think, mind you,
uh,
I
uh,
think some of these could get a second chance in the world of VR, but VR needs
mhm,
to get more traction first.
yeah,
When we get to the phase where everybody at home has a VR set,
uh-huh,
that's where some of these can possibly like imagine World War I. You're in the trench
yeah,
playing in VR.
uh-huh. That would be cool. A whole lot immersive too.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more like you feel it more. There's more going on
Right.
there.
And it's that experience that gets people coming back to the game.
Mhm.
But it's also the community too. And I'm glad you brought up the point about squad, dude, because squad is really, I don't know, for some reason I've never been called a shitter in that game.
Because you don't have to be good. That's the thing
Yeah,
is that
it also depends on your
it's
role.
it's more so about the tactics than a
Hmm.
single person who can slide, fire,
And
and do a
shoot
bunch of
many take.
ridiculous crap. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
Let
and,
me
and,
put
and
my
that's
shield plates in. There's no shield plates, okay? Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
get shot, you get shot. And it's got
Right.
really good mechanics that support that.
Hmm.
Even when you're not hit by bullets. It's got a really good mechanic for suppression.
Yeah,
When you're just being kind of fired at but not actually
yeah.
hit, the dimming of the
Right.
screen making it hard to see. So you're not
Yes.
going to be like jumping up, jumping the barricade and running at them because you can barely see them because you're suppressed in the screen because they're constantly
Right, right.
firing machine gun fire on your position. So
That is true.
so the things where it's like, most games you only ever shoot your gun when you're trying to kill somebody.
Right.
With that suppression mechanic, sometimes it's best just to like they're over in those woods somewhere. Okay, bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
so our guys can run across the road. Just
Yeah.
because you're just causing that suppression effect.
Yes. And there's actually, I had a really good squad commander, and what the squad commander actually did was, I like how he uses these machine gunners
Hmm.
to also direct fire towards a certain subject, or a certain target. Like, like what his instruction to us is, wherever your machine gun, you can use the machine gunner as suppression, to your point, but you can
Hmm.
also use the machine gunner to also direct fire, for the entire squad, or the entire
Because the
uh
tracers, you could follow the
yeah, yeah,
tracers and be like, they're that way.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It works both ways too. It also gives away your position, but when well used, it's a really good way to especially if you have mortar teams. If you build your
Right.
mortars there, like, boom. It's the same thing also for hell let loose. So it's really interesting. It's so funny. So I'll tell you a story about my experience in squad. So I was a total noob. I don't know anything. So I joined this squad, and I just told them, "Hey man, I'm completely new. I could be trash in this game. So please forgive me." And my squad lead there was the most reassuring person ever I've probably ever known. But I don't know if I should hate him or love him for it, because here's what he told me. He said, "You may think you're trash, but but even trash can do great things. It's because and that's because that's why it's called garbage can and not garbage cannot." So, like, oh man.
Yeah,
I
like,
don't know if I should hate him
that's
for it.
funny. I mean, I haven't played a lot
I,
of Squad. I've probably
yeah.
played a total of like 7 hours of Squad. So just a little
Yeah.
bit, which is only maybe
Hmm.
6 matches, I think, because some of them
Which
go
is
on for
fine.
like an hour and 15 minutes. So I
Oh,
only
that is true.
play currently because I'm still learning.
Hmm.
The couple times I play it is
Yeah.
I just play the medic because it's like,
Yeah,
okay, I got one
I'm the
purpose:
same.
keep people alive. I can learn the other things and what they're doing
Oh,
while just focusing on keeping people alive, and it's fun, like throwing the smoke or
uh-huh.
jumping over barricades while bullets are flying by because you got to go heal up
Yeah.
your dudes over here. Like
Right.
it's a blast. It's a blast being the medic. There was
I
actually a
think
World
Hell Let
War
Loose
II
has it.
game that was coming out. I don't know if it was canceled or whatever, but I remember seeing like previews of it where
Oh, do tell.
you play as a medic in World War II. Like that's your whole job
Oh,
is you're a medic and you're just like running around the place healing
Battlefield.
people.
dude, this is so much Hacksaw Ridge. you, you, you go full on Hacksaw Ridge here. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I gotta check that out though. But I'm with you too about being a medic because
Mhm,
that's the only, I don't know, the most fun role that I could ever think of. But I've tried I'm I'm very still I'm not very good with sniping yet, but I want to learn it. That's why I'll try marksman, but usually they block
mhm,
out the marksman. It was also funny because the cool thing about squad and probably even hell let loose is sometimes like you can create like a specific group for
mhm.
a specific function. So if your squad is genuinely like helicopter helo
Yeah.
squad, that's all you'll be doing for the entirety of the match.
Yep.
I was new and I didn't know
Ah,
that was how it was supposed to work. So it's like, um, basically what we did was we dropped off like a squad of I don't know troopers in the middle of the battlefield, and I went down with them and I went like sneaking along with them. It's like, uh,
no, because you don't want to waste
we're
the vehicles. Vehicle destruction counts as tickets. More tickets. It's
right,
like
right, right.
20 tickets if you lose a helicopter, 10 tickets or something.
Uh huh.
So those are huge losses when you lose those vehicles. So that's why people are
Yes.
like stacked up on vehicles and using them all the time.
Uh huh.
It's a good way to
And that
control vehicle usage in a game where it's you don't want to overuse them because you could over lose it.
right. And I've also tried like a tanker. I've tried being a tanker, and I hate driving. I'm not a very good driver, and that, but I'm also not a very good gunner. so, so because
So
it's not like your arcade games where
yeah,
you have a crosshair.
my problem with a lot of games
Mhm.
is maybe I mean in World War II, I don't know if they had this, but
Okay, do tell.
guns are gyroscopic, like mounted weapons
Huh?
on ships, on different things. So basically,
Oh,
that means like if you point it here and the
stabilized.
vehicle turns, it's still pointing there because the vehicle will turn and you'll
Yeah,
stay in the
yeah.
direction you were pointed. Um, that's my
You're
biggest
talking about
problem I have. A lot of them is you got a guy he's driving as straight as he can, but has to like move or turn or whatever, and you're
yeah.
trying to shoot people and your gun's going all over the place. Not so much in the vehicle games like World War II and stuff when you're on a ground vehicle, but
Uh-huh.
games where it's based like you're in a plane or a flying thing or a spaceship, especially like okay, we got the technology for a spaceship, but this turret can't operate on a gimbal. Like what the
Uh-huh.
hell?
Right. It. I think that was solved in Squad as I think there was like a stabilizer thing, like a key to stabilize your gun. So whatever wherever your
Hmm.
your your body is moving, like your gun is generally like fixed on that specific plane or something. That's what
Yeah,
I
the
know.
vehicle moves underneath, basically
Yeah.
underneath you.
Yeah. So Um, for Hell Let Loose, I haven't played Hell Let Loose like I haven't deep dived into it yet, but a couple
I
of
haven't
my
played
buds
it at
who,
all.
oh well, it's think probably Squad just
Hmm.
in World War II setting, and it's pretty much like that really. Like there's no crosshairs, there's no whatever. You genuinely have to be really tactical in your approach. You have to listen to footsteps. Um, you know, it's very interesting. You literally can like sit and squat and just camp forever and just wait for people until you take them out. But what I hate about that is it's very hard for me to even in squad. It's
Hmm.
very hard for me to identify which where the enemy is. I can't see squat.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to shoot them, but I can't see them. Like where are they coming from? And all I I end up realizing they're just hiding behind a bush or something. I was like, oh my god, that camo is working so well against me.
The problem I have is telling friend from foe a lot of times.
Yes,
So I'm like
yes,
delayed on shooting people because I'm like, I don't know what we look like. Much less
yeah,
the enemy.
yeah,
I have no idea what the enemy looks like.
yeah.
So it
Well, the thing with
and I it's a little better in squad because usually you know where your lines are. Like
yeah, yeah,
so you know like bad guys are that way. We
yeah,
have lines of defense and whatnot.
uh huh,
A lot of other games though where you don't have that clear line, it's really just ridiculously difficult because you don't know. Like we're all mixed in, we're all wearing camo. Oh, your camo's slightly different. Or you have a different helmet.
oh man, that's also the key indicator for Hell Let Loose. Like you can tell which one's which based on the helmets that they have.
Hmm.
Um, and that's why it was easier to tell. Also, the Germans had the grayish arm, you know,
Yeah, and
outfit.
there's the nameplates, but I mean when you're seeing somebody and they're like 100 yards out, it's
Oh, for
sometimes
sure.
hard to
Yeah,
tell.
yeah. Sometimes you gotta get close. Or you need to rely to it on a designated marksman to actually confirm if friend or foe. So,
Like you don't play
and
that
that's
game and not friendly fire somebody at some point. Just ain't
oh, that
happening.
is true. I I've been shot several times in the ass by my own friends. Like
Or
we were
you're
in the
trying to
build.
retreat so they see you running this way
Yeah, true.
and
Yeah,
so they think you're a bad, enemy and they shoot you.
yeah.
But shooting
Because
people in the
that
back happens, yeah. Especially when you're flanking.
oh, dude, you can imagine that, dude. Like imagine that in an actual war. Like we're talking about, say, for example, Ukraine, for example. How can they tell like friend or foe? I mean, sure, you can see the armbands, but like when they're trying to hide their armbands, you sometimes you can't. You
I
shoot by
think
accident, you know?
I don't know. I think eyeballs are better. Like actual eyes, like we're looking at a screen
Uh,
and then looking at
uh
a little dot in the screen is you know, real life I could squint a little bit. I can like there's other ways, shade from the sun that might help. Maybe
good
you have
point. Good point.
binoculars, I don't know, something.
Yeah, this is why as much of as I like playing Soldier Boy, I just don't think I'll be doing very well in the in the actual setting.
I'll just play it as a
Just make
game.
yeah, just make me a medic or an engineer if like all hell breaks loose. Just
No,
make me a medic. Or,
you are no medic. Mm-mm.
oh, yeah. And if just put me in a fob and just let me
We got men
medicate
down.
people.
Where's the medic? Oh, he left, man. He said he's out.
No, that's a core man. That's a core man, dude. That's a core man. I'm not a core man. I'm a medic. Like, okay, field hospital, that's it. That's
Oh,
me.
field hospital. So nurse. You
Yeah,
want to be a
that's
nurse?
okay, is that what you call it? Okay, cool.
Nurse John.
Yeah. Well, that's not a bad deal, a bad thing. Or an engineer. Like, okay, let me repair some of your tanks. Okay, your tank shot up. Okay, let's find some spare parts. Let's weld these things together. Cool. I'm down with that. Or maybe aircraft maintenance. I like that.
Aircraft maintenance is always needed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like aircraft maintenance. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate here, where I'm from. It's not very much. We need. We have a lot of skill, but we just don't have the aircraft.
Oh, come on. If the crap hit the fan in the world stage,
Yeah.
Philippines would be like, "Hey, America, you need more people."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We'd
Basically,
rather
that
have more
that
of our people in your equipment than our people in our not as good equipment.
yeah, because a lot of our spec ops here are very good with jungle warfare, even with
Mhm.
not so good equipment. So imagine if you equip them with really hardcore equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So And
Plus,
that's usually
we already have an
what might
agreement,
happen.
so
Yeah, yeah.
it already works out. Heck,
I
half
think you.
a third of our navy's all Filipinos.
Yeah, and the cool thing there was like there are bases already here. There are multiple bases that are being built.
Didn't they just reopen one, or they're reopening one? Because they had
They're
closed a bunch of them, but they're like reopening one now, right?
they're reopening and they're adding some more.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting ready for China.
Well, we want peace, but that doesn't look like the other guys are willing. They keep saying, "Oh, we're peaceful. We'll do peace with you," but they stab you in the back.
Lies,
So
lies.
what else can we do, right? But if I know this is like a segue, but I'm just gonna say, all we need are submarines. Give
Submarine.
us those subs. Yeah, give us those subs, and we'll sink them all for you. It's an intimidation. It's a good deterrent.
No, subs are pretty beasty. They're also a
Yeah,
big
because
loss. Like there's
oh
you
oh
don't have
yeah
a
yeah
lot of
yeah.
them. I mean, good amount of subs out there, but it's such an
And
expensive
survivability.
loss when
Yeah,
you lose one.
and survivability is almost like low. I
Yeah,
mean, you
if
guys
something
build
happens, but
yeah, but you guys are very build your subs really well. I think you guys had like a sub that actually hit something in the water, and then it still came home. It didn't like
me-
sink.
merely a flesh wound.
Yeah. I saw that news. So that was very interesting. So I mean, props to the engineering behind it because it still got the people back home. I mean, imagine the story about the Indonesian navy who lost their sub at sea. It was totally lost forever, and their subs are
Mm.
like old school, old school.
Yeah, the old diesel style
Yeah,
submarines.
at, at least for us here, we're modernizing, but we still need those subs. We don't even have a sub fleet. Vietnam is doing the same thing, but yeah.
Everybody's trying.
Back
I
to world.
think everybody's ramping up. Back to World War II, well, not World War III. That's a different episode.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I get sidetracked. I get excited. Please don't. Please continue to subscribe and like our stuff
Or
so I can
not.
move.
Go in the comments and tell us how garbage we are. We enjoy that too.
Um,
A
we-
little
remember,
sadistic.
remember, it's called garbage can, not garbage cannot.
Oh no, that's terrible.
But that's what my squad lead said. I just said that. Sorry.
So I think we're in our last like 15 minutes. So Thursday,
Yeah.
because it's
Hmm?
coming out. Company of
Yep.
Heroes. So I say
Oh,
we
heck
watch
yeah.
the Company of Heroes trailer for Company of Heroes 3
Uh,
because pretty jazzed about it. Sadly, there is a campaign
hmm?
mode, but the campaign mode does not support multiplayer. So
Oh, it's not
you,
co-op.
no, you
Oh,
can't even join in as co-op, which I kind of find is a bummer. I think in these games, maybe
uh-huh.
even if you don't have two start points, just
Hmm?
allowing two people to control things,
Right, right.
if that makes sense. Like it would be cool to play like StarCraft, where two people
Yeah.
control the same team.
Race. Yeah.
So
It's like, okay, I'll do the gathering here, and I'll control this squad
yeah,
here,
I
and
haven't
then yeah.
seen that too much in RTSs. I think I've seen it like once, where it's like co-op, but we're both controlling the same guys.
Yeah.
Or RimWorld multiplayer does that. There's a RimWorld mod that allows you to control your
Oh.
settlement, and you can play multiplayer, and it's two people controlling the same settlement.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think it because you can be like, hey, you focus on this. Here's your people to control. I'll focus on this. Here's my people to control.
Uh-huh.
And you really have to work together because you have the same resources to work with.
Uh-huh.
I like it a lot.
Oh. Well, the problem there is it's a mod. It's not like even a vanilla thing that people really think of, you know? So, one thing that I would like to genuinely see is a well executed RTS game that also does first person. Like first person multiplayer. So it's like you got your commander and then there's like first person your people are just there uh, you know, doing stuff.
Hmm.
I want to see a well executed. And then, when you want to build your tanks and everything, you have like a tank limit or something.
Yeah.
Um
Oh,
that
you
w-
mean like an RTS that's FPS?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've played a couple games that were built that way, and it's a lot of fun. Arma, uh, 3,
Yes. Right?
it has
You
a
showed me.
mod. There's a mod where you could play that. It's RTS third person, so you can build things, place things. You have a money income
Right.
system, but you're still a guy on the ground at the end of the day. So it's cool and is not cool. I mean, there's good and bad for it because if something
Right.
needs to happen on the other side of the map, you can't really see
Uh-huh.
it. So you just have like a map view. I
Right.
think if you had a really good kind of like you could pull up an RTS map, go over there, make
Right.
some control commands or something. Besides
Yeah.
basic like move here,
Mhm.
but at the same
Um
time, maybe we need more like better NPCs in just
yeah.
RTS games in general. How cool would
Mhm.
StarCraft be if I told my Marines go over here and they would grab cover and they would,
Right.
that. By
Like
the
the
way,
AI.
one of the main reasons I think we like Company Heroes so much is because there's like building sandbags, getting cover,
Yeah.
putting your guys in buildings. A unit in cover fending off three other units that are trying to come down the road is like a possibility because we have cover. Um,
Right.
it's not just I build a better unit and then ram them at you.
Mhm.
Unless you're
Mhm.
playing as the
It
Russians, then you're just throwing
it
conscripts at them constantly.
it
That's their
it's
play
it's
style.
it's not it's pretty much not like rock paper scissors kind of approach
Mm,
to it. You know what I'm saying? It's very much like, okay, how do you use the terrain to your advantage? How do you use your
mm-hmm.
units to the positioning and the garrisoning
The
or
buildings,
something?
the road direction,
Right.
are there trees there? Is there
Mhm.
hedges? Um,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to take all that into account. The map itself is a part of the strategy a lot
Mhm.
more than other games
Exactly.
because there's a lot of
And
games
that's
you can
what
almost ignore the map. Like the map's not really that important.
yeah.
StarCraft's I think a lot like that. For the most part, the
And so
map isn't as important as being able to just do a lot of things really fast.
well, there is an element to it, at least for StarCraft, as far as I know, because of course, number one, your mineral. Where do you
Yeah.
expand your bases and all that, and then where do you do your clashes? So in maps in StarCraft maps, there are choke points.
Mhm.
So say for example, if you have a large army, a ball-sized army that you're going to clash with, then obviously you want to thin them out by luring them into a choke point. You know what I'm saying? So
Main difference
it's
being
still
is
there.
in Company Heroes, you have to
Yeah.
decide where you want to make those choke points a lot of times.
Yes.
Like there may be
You
a
said
bridge, you could blow up the bridge.
mhm,
Maybe there's three roads, but we're going to do tank traps and barbed wire over here on this
right.
road to limit people
To
from coming down
funnel
that
them.
way to get them to come more this way. So there's a lot
Yeah.
more and the map's
You're in
completely
control.
destructible. Like all the
Yeah.
buildings, everything on it is destructible. So you want those buildings gone? All right, let's take out those buildings and make a new road. it's
That's
it's
right.
very much more
You're
open.
you're pretty much in control. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
you
All right,
got
let's
decisions
let's
to
check.
make them. Let's pop the trailer for what we're
Heck
gonna
yeah.
be doing Thursday. This is the announcement trailer.
Uh,
Let's get it going.
you want to do campaign or you want to do like NPC versus NPC?
We can't do campaign because there's no multiplayer for the campaign. So we
Okay.
have to do, I think, skirmishes, which is all right.
Okay.
I mean, we played.
Yeah. I'll get the game after this then. So
The
this
campaign's
this show
based in Italy.
this show is not sponsored by Company of Heroes. We just love the game. So
Yes, we absolutely love Company Heroes.
please sponsor us, Company of Heroes.
Oh, did you do the tags for this video?
Oh crap.
You'll have just do them after.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can pull it.
Ooh.
The Italy campaign though.
Man, the stories were so good in like 1 and 2. Like, I think it's the second one where you're following the Russian guy, who's like the Russian lieutenant or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's the one telling the stories, and then it goes into the next battle. I think they removed that in the third one, but in lieu of a campaign that you could replay over and over again.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Wouldn't start without you.
Right. I haven't completed the story though, but I probably might like play it if I get a chance. I'll probably find time to do that though.
Oh, it's about to go ham.
Oh heck yeah.
Woo!
Pre-rendered cutscene, dude. That's amazing.
This is the announcement trailer. It's just here to get you jazzed.
Right. That's the whole point of it. Do that.
Thing is, doing stuff like this 100% in the game, using your tanks as cover for your infantry, so like they don't take bullet fire. That's part of the game. Like they thought of that and built it in.
That's what I like about it though. Like
Yes.
at least the tanks have some use, because especially like in, let's just say, Command and Conquer. Don't get me wrong, I love Command and Conquer. I love it. I love the lore. I love the everything about it. But if you got a tank there and you got your infantry right beside the tank, right? They're supposed to be taking cover.
Like, go behind the giant metal thing for sure.
Right.
Another cool thing about Company Heroes is tank explodes, it's still cover. Now it's just a big chunk of metal, and your guys can use it as cover.
Right. Or can probably even repair it if it's badly damaged. You know?
The object permanence is one of the cool things. Like, the planes crash, the vehicles destroyed, they don't just disappear. The wrecks are there, and you can even send engineers to collect for like resources, all the wrecks. And when you get hard up on resources, go out there and start breaking
salvaging.
down, salvaging.
Right. That's the cool thing about this. It's really well thought out, dude. Look at that airborne, man. Like airborne is special place in my heart. So whenever we play Company of Heroes, dude, Jason is so good with setting up defenses and mortar teams. That's one of his best qualities in playing these kinds of games. That's where he's really good at. And then he can support you with teams and with tanks and engineers too. It's amazing.
All right, here's the latest trailer. This is from Gamescom.
Dang, look at that. I'm hyped. Company of Heroes 3 player way.
That and like all your guys, they have like special abilities, but it's not hard. One of the things I always had trouble in was in normal RTSs like StarCraft. All these guys have special abilities, and remembering like what goes with who, and but that's because there's like so many units with special. Usually you have like 3 units with like actual special abilities. The other ones are just things that make sense, like pop smoke
Right.
or
Yep.
fire artillery
Grenade.
round. Yeah, it's
Throw
not
grenade.
like so ridiculous where it's like I got these 5 abilities to use.
Oh, dude, look at that. They had like a campaign overview thing.
Yeah, see, there's the naval and the dynamic campaign. Yeah, so it's kind of almost like a Total War campaign.
Right. Oh, look at that. Garrisoning. Destruction like never before. Oh my god, look at that.
Tactical
That's so
pause. Oh, that's just cool. Hey, there's your new comic, John. You just set up the stuff, have them fight, tactical pause, get your screenshots for your new comic.
Oh, heck yeah.
World War II comic.
That would be cool. It could be used as a setting. I wish there was more because I have a lot of comic ideas already. But the problem is it's sometimes inconsistent because it depends on the games that I play.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one which is so cyberpunk, and then there's
Yeah.
one which is so Final Fantasy, and then there's one it's like now I'm gonna do World War II. It's like
Well, you remember you could save your replays in the other two.
oh
So we could play this multiplayer. You get an idea for a comic, you save the replay, and you go get screenshots and make a comic of that playthrough. That would be
Oh.
really fun.
oh heck yeah, I'm totally down.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah. It's big. The cool thing about comics is it's almost like a skit. It's like a short video that you can usually do. You know how those reels usually have those short skits. Although I want to learn how to do those skits though. Those skits are raking up a lot of viewership. As opposed to comics, but comics wise, yeah, the shorter ones usually garner the audience. Like, okay, they read it, they'll wait for the next one. Usually, if they're disconnected stories, but to retain them, sometimes it's better to have like a one cohesive story that they're literally invested in, and they'll want to keep clicking on the next. That I need to learn how to focus on and complete because I have a attention span of a bird.
Well, I think, stories are something that like once you get one in your head and you want to build on it and you just keep on wanting
Right.
to build on it, you found one that you actually are like really into.
Yeah,
There's a lot of like
that's right.
fun I don't know, thought tests or just thinking
Yeah.
exercises, I guess, where it's like, oh, this and then that happens and then what about these things? And it's like, oh, that'd be really cool, but I'm not really 100% interested. And there's something where you do, and maybe you create the characters and whatnot, and you be a little more like, I love these characters. I want these characters to do more. I'm invested.
Right. It's like almost fan fiction, but
Yeah.
ish. But like you write them out because what I sometimes do is I like creating my own characters inside that world, and then the thing about that is to sustain and maintain that storyline to make sure it's consistent all throughout, and that literally entails that I have to write their story, their backstory, their character profile, what kind of character they are, because you want to be consistent all throughout, right? Like if somebody is genuinely like this from the get-go, you want them to be consistent
Yeah.
because they're one thing I've observed when I did like a prototype was, oh my god, my character wasn't being consistent, and it shows. Like, okay, she's firm, but then later on she goes a little quirky, and which is fine. It's very subtle, but you kind of feel it because you don't have like a grounded foundation. So you got to build the foundation first. Basically, what I'm saying is build the Cimmerillion, write the story. That's how it is. Lesson learned.
Create a universe, and
Yeah.
then just start thinking of characters till you find one that you're like,
And you want to write about it.
I want to
Yeah.
follow that character's journey.
It's almost like Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like with Dungeons and Dragons, you literally create your story,
Yeah,
and then you can start. You know, it's usually the campaign master who does that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The
yeah.
dungeon
And then
master.
the dungeon master. Yeah. So they're the ones who create the lore, the story, everything, and then all their friends will have to do is just live that world.
But
If
I'm
you want,
excited for Thursday.
man,
I'm ready to
I'm-
play
I'm buying it tomorrow and literally downloading it after.
as soon
after
as
work.
possible.
Yes. I'm so stoked.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it comes out Thursday, but I don't know. We may. Yeah, I don't know if you want to. We might stream early to play the game. Hopefully, it works.
heck yeah.
I mean, it's a new game. Usually these games are more processor intensive, not video card intensive. So I shouldn't. We shouldn't have any problems like streaming them.
we can
so much.
we can test it out first. Yeah.
Yeah, not like Harry Potter, where Harry Potter was like, "No, I want to die." So-
Oh, dude, it's like I know it was eating up your GPU.
Oh yeah,
I
GP
felt
was
sorry.
like, "I'm so tired."
You did well, my little war machine.
I guess. All right, well, that's gonna be the end for today. Hopefully, see you guys back Thursday. We usually start around 7:30. And we do a little hour thing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So come check us out. We're on YouTube, Facebook, all the other ones.
Yeah. Like,
So-
comment, subscribe, share.
And thank you very much for anybody who popped in. And you all have a good one. See you Thursday for when we're going to play some Company of Heroes, little co-op action. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.